absolutely ready. I'm not really gonna look at the score, I'm just gonna enjoy your beautiful musicianship.
Okay, I'm very interested to see what you have to say.
Okay? I'll tell you exactly what I think, I promise.
Yes, and are you going to be taking notes as well?
I will.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem. Beautiful playing. Wonderful. Listen to you. Thank you so much for your extremely good preparation and your touch and your care and your musicianship and your memorization. A+, bravo. You're just super.
Thank you for being here to listen to it.
Oh, well, I think you sound terrific. Absolutely terrific. I have a couple of just fun things to talk about, but I mean, my goodness, it's wonderful. How do you feel about how that went?
I think it was very well, and I think it was better than last time.
Was it? Okay.
It was
Yep.
better than when I last played it for
There's
this
much
hour.
more cohesion now.
And it's coming more natural, and it's sounding more like an improvisation. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think it may sound more like the way you intended it to be.
Yeah, no, I love the way you play it. And you know, one of the thoughts I had for you, you don't even have to take notes because
I'm going to take notes because this is a very important lesson.
okay. All right, well, please write down bravo, 3 cheers, A+, musical, all the good stuff, okay? Oh, or maybe somebody else can write that down for you, but in any case,
Okay.
okay. Awesome. So do you mind starting right at the beginning? And then we'll just like, as you go, we're gonna talk over it just a tiny bit. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Today is the 26th.
Yep. 25th. Wait. 25th.
Today the 25th or 26th?
I think it's 25.
25, yes.
What beautiful playing. My goodness. You're lucky to have Miss Sauer as your teacher. And how are you addressed, Francisco? Or like
I don't know what I am anymore.
associate teacher?
His name is Francisco.
I don't know, but I know what you call
You
it.
should call him by Mr. Ybarra.
No, I don't want to be old.
Well, you're not sir.
So just Francisco.
How about Dr. Ybarra?
Okay, maybe.
Doctor. All right, let's start at the top. Let's I just have the great privilege to be standing next to this beautiful piano, so don't pay any attention to me. I'm just taking in the vibrations and I'm just.
No, I have the privilege to be sitting next to this spectacular composer.
Well, thank you. But let's start right at the top.
I
And let's
apologize for that broken string.
no
When I
problem.
came here today, it was broken.
It does. Oh,
It's a beautiful piano.
if you notice, this does sound a little bit like the first chord.
It's true. You get some. It sounds like a.
That's putting the best, just the glass
kind of
half full
messiaen.
rather than half empty.
Now, which composer would have used that? Do you know? John Cage would have used that.
No, John Cage would use this.
Careful. Oh, he would have used that.
4 minutes and 33 seconds.
All right, let's start right at the beginning. Just the very first chord. I just want to hear the first chord. Okay, now how can we make that really magical and poetic? Like, what is the image in your mind? Is it a field of flowers, or is it like a bell, or what is it?
Floating on a cloud with heaven in the distance.
Okay, well we need that color. You've got a great piano here. Yes! That's so much prettier. Perfect, right? That's a better color, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, all of these notes are voiced equally, which is good. So what I want you to do is now play the first 3 bars, and go ahead and do that. Excellent. Now, what's happening in this bar? What am I doing there? Like, what are you feeling there? Are you
Well, I can imagine the mood going down a little bit.
okay.
The mood gets a little bit less bright and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, this is a question, I think.
It's like, what's going on,
What's
right?
going on?
And then,
And then you start to.
but then it gets louder as it goes lower, like you played it. Okay, so like, now what's that low note? What's the image for the low note? Like we were up in the
Maybe.
clouds and we had like this image of heaven, you said, and then we.
Then a cloud covers heaven and it becomes darker.
Okay, or let's even pretend it was like Earth or something, like so we have 2 layers. Can you imagine that?
Yes. How about the first bar describes what it's like above the clouds, but the second bar, especially the low note, would describe what's happening below the clouds.
Yes. Now, that's what I want you to think about. That's so good. So we have like distance, right? We have a distance. We have one place, and then we have another place that's farther away, which you just articulated so well. So,
Excuse me?
yeah.
Miss Sauer?
Yeah.
I hope you're writing some notes here because she's bringing up great points.
Yes, I am.
So one thought for you, Sammy, is if we're here in the clouds, right?
Yes.
and then we go down to some other space. There's this much distance, right?
Well, in reality, there's more than that.
Correct. But let's just say it's this much. Now in this piece, don't I sometimes even go farther?
Well, in the climax of the piece,
Yes.
at measure 33,
Yes. So what you have to do is gauge it, right? If we're setting up some kind of distance here, which you did so well, make sure that you're gauging everything in relation to that. So let's start at the top. It was beautifully played, just beautiful. Okay, that can be more magical. I know you can make it more. You've got the. There we go. Okay, that has to be voiced exactly even. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, there we go. Let's start at the top. That was beautiful touch, though. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. And something's like gonna come out of it, like a double bass. And that's gonna ring. Yes. Now we're gonna have a consequent phrase. Yes, that's beautifully done. And you know, I see this is mezzo forte and that's only mezzo piano. That's what I meant by you went further. And you did it. You did it perfectly.
yes, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What were you thinking when you composed this piece?
I was thinking of. That's a good question. I was thinking of the music, but I was also thinking of kind of like these interesting harmonies that you don't know if it's going to oscillate this way or that way. And then also these other voices coming in.
Yes, now I don't want you to think of it as a musical perspective. Were you thinking of any story or anything outside of music?
Yeah, you know, one thought I had,
What was the thought?
you probably have a better thought, but I'll tell you one thought I had. Can I touch your piano?
Of course.
I am
Of
not.
course.
Can I just sit there for 1 second?
Yes.
And I'm not a pianist, but I've never, you know, I don't play piano, but.
Miss Sauer can add a list of celebrities that played on that piano.
And now we add
Augusta
Augusta
B.
B.
Thomas.
Thomas.
So, like, what I was thinking is like we have this D. And then there's like something that's going around it somehow.
That was a great sounding
And then we
D.
have like, then we have that one. And then something else is going, slipping down. And then we have this one. And then we have, you know, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's up to you to do, you're the better one. But you know, so it's like but always we're just, we keep coming back like a meditation, like that's my Zen. It's then we're gonna go
The
out
cozy
into
house.
this other world. Yes, and then we're gonna come back. And so we have to like make those graded, but we have to first build a world so that when we get the first D, it's living in some kind of place, right?
Yes,
So let's go up to the first D and make the first D really special. Let's start at the top. Now, the D is in there, isn't it? It's hiding, but we won't tell anyone yet.
yes.
You just keep that one in your own back pocket. Okay. There, that's good. Good voice. We're gonna broaden it out. The next phrase, you're gonna even broaden it further. Earth.
Here's the D.
There it is. That's it's a special note. Yes! That's it. That's it. That's what I was thinking. And then every time you come back to the D, it's like your best friend, but it's always a little different. It's like it's never the same twice. Once it's a clarinet, and then once it's a trumpet, and then the next time it's a bell, and then, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Loved that. So that's really it. And then just I think you know we don't need to belabor this. Maybe we do the other movement a little bit, but I think your touch is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing you know your internal counting in this very rubato piece.
Well, molto rubato.
That's molto rubato. That's my exactly. It makes it not so But you know, one other thought I had, can I just touch the piano one more time?
Of course.
Like, if you have, let's say, let's say this is a, this is not this piece, all right? It's like, this is a French horn, like. You know, like, how long can you wait, like, till the clarinet comes in, right? So that's the clarinet, right? It didn't speak at first, but like, how long can I wait? If it's a loud French horn, I can keep waiting, and then I want it on an upbeat.
It's mezzo forte.
Okay, but you see, like, but there's some relation, right?
Yes.
So that's what this whole piece is about. Like, which note is louder, which note is quieter, which one's coming forward, which one's going backwards. You know what I mean? It's not a good improv. You could do a much better improv than I did. But that kind of idea, it's all about the touch and the spiraling around each other. But I'm very impressed. Bravo.
That was listening to the decay of the tone, the E flat, right?
Exactly.
Until you listen to the quality that you want to join.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And that's why there's so much space in this piece. Because I was listening at my piano, like, okay, when do I want the next note to come in? Now, if those rests weren't there, it would be kind of a drag. If it just goes blank, 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 blank. You know, there's no poetry, right? But it's all about how long the distance is between the two of them, or the three. And I thought you did that great.
Yes, I used to play this piece in one tempo. And for example, at 20 here, you know, notice that I held this forte D for a long
I
time
did
to
notice
let
that.
it decay.
Yes,
I used to
noticed
play-
that.
I used to play it like this.
Right in time, so to speak. Yeah.
I gotta save that for the second movement.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, do you want to do a little tiny bit of the second movement? Because this is
Yes.
gorgeously prepared.
So now,
Bravo.
so thank you so much. Now, the first 2 pages of the second movement,
Oh, wow.
I can play at tempo.
Jeez.
The rest, not as much.
Don't.
I can still play them at a decent speed. If you want to hear it, then
I want you to do what you want to do.
okay. So I would like to start by playing the first 2 pages of the second movement.
Okay.
Okay.
Loving your tempo. Wow. Have you been doing that with a metronome, or you just have that internal?
Well, in my practicing at home, I do use a metronome.
Yeah. Good for you.
Because your marking is quarter note equals 100, and I think that is a great tempo marking for this movement.
It wouldn't work if it was slower, would it?
It wouldn't, or if it was faster.
Can I hear the opening line again? Just the first 3 bars? And one more time, sorry. What did I say? There we go. Cool. Now,
Okay.
that was awesome. Can you actually do me a favor? Can you actually? Oh, focus. You know,
Falling apart.
So you know what, Sammy? That is so good. I just love what you're doing. So one thing, can you play me a note that's double piano, and then I want to hear any note, and then I want piano, then mezzo forte, then double forte. I want
That's exactly what Miss Sauer was talking about.
Okay.
with me.
So let me hear your gradations. Okay, do it one more time. I think some of them weren't as equally spaced. That was excellent.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
You're doing it all with the forearm and the hand. Don't think about controlling it with your upper arm.
Ah.
Better, but just remember the forearm hangs from the upper arm.
I'm using the D this time.
Okay.
No, we'll work on it another time.
But that's, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. So what I want you to do in this piece, look at this, look at this. We go from piano all the way to double forte, don't we, in that very, very first phrase.
Mm-hmm.
We start mezzo forte and then we go down to piano and go all the way to double forte. That's super dramatic. That's like a tiger coming out of a cage or something. You know, like it's like, wow, right? That's your whole beautiful dynamic range that you just played so well, except you have to do it better with your arm. But can you play it once where you really give us that impression of the dynamics?
I'm just writing this down.
Okay. Okay, now that's good. And now make it really musical, like just keep your touch. That was my favorite one. I don't know what you did differently, but that was my favorite one.
May I make one suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, where the forte is,
Yes.
use that as a springboard to the fortissimo.
Oh, good idea. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I told you Miss Sauer is one of the best teachers
I know
around.
she is. She's famous worldwide. I mean, for decades, since way before, for years and decades. Okay, that was great. We don't need to belabor this because that was really good. But do you want to play the first two pages again?
Okay, I'm going to try.
Okay.
Now, after I play this, I have something pretty important to talk to you about.
Excellent. I love
And
that.
it's about this movement.
Okay, I love important things. That's awesome. Amazing. What was the important question you had?
Okay, so it's about learning this piece. I had lots of trouble learning the notes for this. It was very hard for me. And I would like you to give me some advice on how to learn it without it being so overwhelming and challenging.
That's a great question. You have two geniuses here that can probably be more help. But one thought I have is one of the things that here I'm just gonna can I just say, like, if you have something like this, it's very, very clean, right? You know where you are, right? You're like, whatever, so something like that. But then you have these kind of crunchy chords. I bet those are the ones that are hard, right?
Yes?
Which was the hard? What was hard about it? Not the diads, but the harder chords, or was it just like the whole thing?
The entire thing was hard. And I don't want you to be offended by this.
No, I'm not offended.
But I did have a couple breakdowns learning.
Well, you don't have to learn it. You can abandon it. That's okay too.
No, I don't want to abandon a piece created by such a spectacular person.
Well,
And I would love to, and I think it's a great opportunity to premiere this piece. So, never in a million years will I abandon this piece.
all right, well, thank you, but you know, don't feel any pressure from me, okay? You know, one thing, I could maybe say one thing about like the spirit of the piece a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna help you though, Sammy. Actually, you don't need to write this down. Have you listened to jazz?
No.
Okay.
I sometimes hear it in maybe in stores or restaurants,
Yeah.
but I never try listening to jazz myself.
So can you imagine something in your mind? Like I'm gonna try to be a whole ensemble. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say it's one clarinetist goes beat up, and then like two people go jet up, oh beat up,
Mm-hmm.
and then like six people, like a saxophone and a trumpet and a trombone, they go ja up, oh jiggy, right? So it's like beat up, jet up, jiggy pop pop jiggy, ba ba.
It reminds me of bebop music.
It's bebop.
You were telling me about it on that
Right.
online interview.
So if you go like dee-da, ba-da, ba, ja, jo, ja, ja, like how many? Yes. Now how many? That's it. There you go. So that's what I was thinking. So for instance, like this is like the clarinet or something, and that's the saxophone, and that's the trumpets, and then how many on this jugum? Play me just the jugum right there. Yeah. Now, it doesn't really matter how many notes, but can you imagine an orchestra where all of a sudden, like, you have a lot of people, and then we're back to just one person. And then this is just one thing. Blink. You know, this is just one little flute player goes blink. You know, so
Similar to the very last chord of the piece.
that's right. So in any case, maybe that would help you to think about it, like think about all the different colors you can get from the different harmonies. Does that help at all? I mean, I know it's just technically art. It's finger work, it's rhythm, but.
Mm-hmm. So right now, I can play pretty comfortably up to page 9.
Amazing.
And then I've been working backwards from page 12. And now I'm about halfway through 11.
Amazing.
So I have half of 11 and 10 to learn, and then I have the whole piece.
Wow.
And then I have all soon to be 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Unbelievable.
Many months of hard, intense work, 5 minutes and 30 seconds on stage.
I know. It's, you can kill me later.
I will never kill you, I promise.
But no, I don't want to overtake onto your time or anything, but did you want to play some of it at a slower tempo, or did you want to not do that today?
I don't want to do that today.
Okay, no problem.
You see what she's saying, Sammy, I believe? If you think about the character of what you're trying to say with the music, you'll be able to learn the notes easier. They'll be in context. There's a reason for those notes. Just as these 2 pages, you now are playing it so different than when you were first learning them, right? And it's fun to play them now.
Yes.
And you can be assured it's the same composer that wrote the first 2 pages, wrote
the other 7
wrote
pages.
the rest 10 pages. So you know it's going to be the same type of writing, same type of character. She's allowing you to let your imagination go, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I agree with every word you said. Absolutely right. And you know, one other thing, that it kind of interests me, especially, I mean, you guys both know lots of repertoire, and I love piano repertoire, but can you Sammy, there's this little piece, this little arc too, it's kind of quirky, right? It's a little weird. It's like, whoa, what was she thinking, right?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
In our interview, you said this can be an encore.
That's right, it could be an encore. But I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't really sound like other things, right? It doesn't sound like Debussy, it doesn't sound like Messiaen, it doesn't sound like Mozart, it doesn't sound like Beethoven. It sort of sounds like its own kind of quirky thing.
It does not sound like any composer. It sounds like Augusta Reed Thomas.
Yeah, and so that's what's tricky. So I think what Miss Howard was just saying is right. Like, okay, if I'm thinking of bebop, shut up, like that's what I'm thinking, you know. So like, and then you just played it like that. So play it like it swings a little, just imitate me. You don't even have to turn the page. You have that note memorized. Then you can turn the page.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. See, I love that. I love that so much. I don't know if that makes it more fun to play or less fun to play.
More fun, of course.
That's the spirit that we're going for here. And so if somebody says, geez, what was that Augusta Reed Thomas piece? It's like, wow, that's like bebop crossed with Messiaen, crossed with Stravinsky, crossed with Bartok. Like, what was she thinking, you know? But then you have to make it its own thing. Like, okay, what would it sound like if we did bebop crossed with Bartok? Like, what would that sound like? Maybe it sound like this. So it's up to you to kind of, like Miss Sauer said, to get the spirit. And I think you just did. What did you think of that last one?
Yeah, that's exciting. And you know, Sammy, everybody will enjoy listening to that.
My mom said, no offense, but she said that she thinks that no one will like this because she thinks it sounds absolutely terrible. I do not agree with that at all.
Well, that's because she's been listening to your practicing and trying to learn it. That's not how you're performing.
Yes.
So if you would perform this for her, she might find it kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you're really doing great work. I know you have other things in your lessons to do, and I don't want to take your time, but I want to thank you because I think it's really, really well prepared, and you're very, very musical, and you're going to get the right touch, and you never need to pound. You can always just get that right touch, and you've got the skills to do that. You got the fingers, you got the feet, you got the brain, you got the whole, you're in good physical shape. Obviously, you're doing lots of sports and everything, so you've got the whole package, don't you? Yeah, you really do. So I'm thrilled, and you just take your time with it and don't feel any pressure, okay?
Yes. There's the festival that you made up.
Right, the Ear Taxi Festival.
Yes. That I made, if I'm ready, which I expect to be, I'll play this
Amazing.
in October
That would
for
be
that
amazing.
festival.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
And I will give you all of the credit in the world.
I'll give you all the credit. So I'm gonna leave, but I want you to do one thing. Can you play the opening 2 phrases and make me smile? Like, make it funny. Okay, great. One more time. Like, try to make your mom laugh.
Now,
You're starting to get into
yes,
that.
yes, I gotta make sure I do not look like someone that starts with the letter L.
What is that?
Lang Lang.
Oh, yes, I agree with that. No, I think this is wonderful, and you should just have fun with it. It's a fun little piece. It's not like it's not a dirge or anything. It's just a fun little.
It's a gigantic contrast to the first movement.
Right, but you know what? If you actually look at those chords, you actually really look at the chords of the first movement, I bet you'll find a lot of correspondences.
Well, just one thing. In page 8, in measure 104,
Yeah.
there is a D,
That's right, and we land right on that, right?
which
and I think you'll find some others.
Did you do that on purpose?
Subconsciously. I would have to be honest, it was probably subconscious. But anyway, thank you so much. You probably have other repertoire to do, but that's amazing.
Yes, I have
Thank
a
you
lot
for
of other
coming.
repertoire.
Thank you for having me.
He's needed that.
Oh, it was just terrific. Can I shake your hand? I am super impressed. We need a photo. I need a photo
Yeah,
with
can we
you.
do a photo with all
Yes.
three of you?
You should turn. You should.
Let's do
Let's
one.
take off. Let's turn off the recording first.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
I want to turn it off.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, the recording was on.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Good.